I'm going to make this incredible kimono coat. It is just beautiful, full of drama, a proper opera coat, and it's been made to go with the dress from last week, so you can put this together in an ensemble. Use the patterns together to make your wardrobe go even further. There is a sewing pattern. It is linked right here in the video. You can get it today and have this sewn in the afternoon. It is so simple and so quick and so much fun to use your fabric in this way. Look at that. Isn't it fantastic? Let's have a look at this gorgeous fabric. I am using this fabric. It is a wool blend, and one side, if you can see, is just plain, and then the other side is brushed. Like that. So do you see that's a bit fuzzier than that side? It is really, really cool. Look how big that tartan is. I bought it when I bought this fabric, and you can see why. So the kimono coat will go perfectly with the kimono dress, making an incredible kimono outfit. This is 150 centimeters wide, so 60 inches, and I got 2.5 meters, about 2.6, 2.7 yards of fabric. So it's going to make a really cool coat, and it will fold over and be about that long. So nice big woolen winter coat. First thing we do is get your selvages and fold it in half along the straight of grain down the fabric. And what we're trying to do is fold this into four. So like that, and then directly in four like that. And from this point here, we'll cut the neckline. So I'll line this up perfectly and then cut a neck hole out of here, and we'll do the actual neckline down the front of the garment in a minute. But first I'm doing that so I know where that is. So I'm up in this corner here where all the corners emanate from. We're all lined up nicely. And over here is the selvage, so that's the sleeves essentially, but I'm going to deal with this part at the moment. So we come in and we measure 4 inches or 10 centimeters across the top, across these folds. So that's 10 centimeters, 4 inches. Now, will white go well? There we go. And then we go 2 inches or 5 centimeters down the back. So down this back fold, which is the center back essentially, if you start to think of this as a jacket from now on. And what I want to do is link that up with a nice curve, because this is your neckline. And there's a template in the pattern that looks like this that you can print out if you need to, but honestly you can just draw it like I did then. And now we cut. So you have your neck hole cut out there, and we move over to the selvages to then create the beautiful T shape that will make this jacket. So we move down to the selvages and we're going to measure down and then in, and then cut T shape into this fabric. Now the pattern will tell you how far in you want to go. I'm going to use my whole fabric, so I have really nice long sleeves. But one thing you want to do is come down from these folded edges. So that is your cuff, if you think of it that way. And you want to make a really wide, beautiful sleeve. So you want to come down 20 inches. About, which is 50 centimeters down. That's going to give you a really long, beautiful kimono style sleeve. So we're coming in and then down. And then you carry that on down the coat until you get to the raw edges down here. So you're creating this big T shape I now have a lovely T shape like this. And what I need to do is cut the center front. There are a few ways to do this. Now, in the pattern, you can go from this corner, so the edge of your neckline, and you can come down on a diagonal until you reach the underarm of your sleeve. That will give you a sort of diagonal and then a straight down. You can also just cut straight down the front there. This will mean it's a bit more of an open garment, but it won't be as bulky because it falls down straight like that. So it's worn as an open coat. And then you can also cut from this corner up here on your shoulder diagonally down to the center on the front. And that will give you more space again like this, but it'll be more tapered. So the whole hem will flare a bit more. I'm going to cut it straight down on the neckline from the shoulders, and that's in the pattern. But the best way to do that is to get your center front, get the front of your garment, pull it up so you've got, if you see it like this, sleeves, and then you've got your neck hole here, and I'll cut from that shoulder point all the way down through both layers. Now the coat has been cut out, what we have to do is put it together and do the finishing. The first thing we do is to finish the collar. This is up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to double turn. So I'm going to, the whole way around, turn it once, and I might sew that down to secure it, and then turn it again and do a double turn. So it's lovely and neat like that, and especially around the curved part of the collar here. Do a nice double turn and securing that down, working nice and slowly as I go around that curved edge to hold it back. Now you could choose to bind this. You've certainly got the scrap material to do so. You can cut some 45-degree angles and make some binding, use a contrast binding or something like that. There are so many different ways to do it. And if you're trying to save on size or anything like that, you can just turn it back once. So from the inside of the coat, it will look like that with a seam across it. I like to do it twice so you don't see any raw edges whatsoever. Even with this wool that barely frays at all, I still think it's nice to turn it twice. And then also you can use the scraps not just to make a binding, but also to make a collar, which is as easy as folding it over and sewing it around this front opening part. Although I would advise to still turn it back, so where your collar ends, you've got a lovely turned back front edge to carry on down to the hem. There are so many different possibilities, and because we have so many beautiful rectangular leftover pieces, there's a lot that you can do with them. I'm going to head to the machine and do my front edge. I'm starting here at the center back. I'm going to work down one side and then work down the other, and that's just to deal with walking. So you're seam walking, and then especially with this, because this is that check, and I want them to line up as I go down like that, so it's all in the right place. And if you start at one hem and work all the way up and then come down the other side, there's a bigger chance that you'll walk your seam and it'll end up a bit skew like that as you're coming down, because it's all being pushed. As much as we can be gentle, it will still be pushed a little bit, just because this is such a long seam. So I like to split it in half by starting here at the center back neck and just doing it like that. So you see I'm just turning it back. This is by about 1/2 centimeter, 5 millimeters, which is 1/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to turn it back again. And this is going to hold everything back and make it easier when I come around on the second pass to do it again. Another option for this seam is to overlock or overcast your raw edge and then just turn it back once and sew it down. So there are a lot of options there for how you want to finish your edge and what you have at your disposal to make that decision. The neckline is finished and looking absolutely beautiful. Those lovely checks all lining up down there. So that's great. I'm trying not to maneuver too much because I don't want to stretch out that curved neckline. But what I do need to do is now sew the body and sleeve. So up and across here. And I need to do that right sides together. So flip that all over. And it is as simple as that. We are sewing up and then across. So you line it all up, sew it, and then finish it however you want. I think what I'm going to do is sew this and then overcast it because it's a bit too bulky to do a French seam. But you can do that as well. Also, French seams are kind of difficult when you get into this little corner here at the turn from the body to the sleeve. A nice big seam along there, and of course you can overlock both sides of this first or treat the raw edges and then sew the seam and press the seam open. That's a great way to do it, and it also helps to navigate around this corner. But most seams will work. The thing about a corner like this, which in fashion, in technical terms, is called a kimono sleeve. So this is a traditional Japanese kimono sleeve on a yukata. There's a traditional kimono sleeve on an actual traditional kimono. This is a technical kimono sleeve. The definition of that is a sleeve that isn't joined to the body with a seam. So the seam is inset rather than set in. So there's no seam connecting the sleeve to the body. And that is technically, in fashion, when you are in the garment industry, that is called a kimono sleeve. They don't always, but they quite often are square cut like this because of their origins, and that's why it's given its name. So with that square cut, we need to come in and clip into that corner. And that's how you give ease to a kimono sleeve. So we cut right into the stitching and have a little bit of a clip in here. So that's what to consider when you're considering what seams you're going to do. Obviously a French seam, you're going to be cutting through the French seam, but you can always go past and overcast or run a couple of whip stitches across it to close in the clip and make that neat again. So that's up to you. But right now I'm going to go line it all up, pin it in place, and then sew it. You can already see how incredible this is going to be. This is the sleeve, and it is just huge. The bigger you can make your sleeves with this pattern, the better. This is the corner I'm talking about that we need to clip into. Once you have your lines of stitching in there, so that's going around there, you clip in just to the stitching. Like that. And this opens that seam out, and you see how much, like you can pull it all the way flat now. So what that does is gives this entire underarm ease and stops it from bulking and knotting and pulling up to the shoulder. And so now I'll go on and I'll finish this seams with my overcast foot, and while I'm doing that I'll come in and just overcast that as well. And that's how you do that part. We turn our cuffs and collars in exactly the same way. So you turn them back once, and then you turn them back again and sew that down. And this is where you can make some decisions for yourself about the length of your garment and your sleeves and where you want it to sit. So you can make this a tiny little, just go 1, 2, tiny little turn there. Like this has a spectacular selvage, so you might not even turn that. And that's up to you and how you want to finish your garment. But you do that, so with the hem, turned it once, and then you turn it again. And it looks like that. And then you're done. Now, they are some sleeves. Ooh, that is spectacular. This has heft. There she is, the finished product. I'm going to hold it up, but you'll get a close-up as well. Oh, I tell you, The wool is definitely wooling. It is definitely heavier than this crepe that I have underneath. Makes sense. This is rayon, this is wool. What a fantastic jacket. This looks incredible. I bought this wool when I bought this rayon blend, and I bought them together to make this outfit, which I'll show you in close up as well. It's so spectacular because it goes all the way down to the floor, and so does this coat. So it's like something out of the early 20th century, and that's exactly where the pattern comes from as well. This incredible opera coat. You would call this an opera coat because it is so spectacular. Lovely, worn open like a surcoat, so it just hangs down here, and then the beautiful olive green comes through as well, picking up and contrasting from the russet in the check. Can you see it there? And then it gets a bit darker down here where it's blended with the black. So it all just comes together in this incredible autumnal winter ensemble. And have a look at it from here. Look at that. That's almost that Balenciaga barrel line, isn't it? Just gorgeous, with the symmetry of the tartan coming through as well. So you've got that shot of black straight down the back, and then your squares. I'm in love with this. I think it's fantastic. I'm so happy to put them together as well. When you have that moment in the fabric store and you see two fabrics that have to go together, it's so much fun when you actually do bring them together in the end. That is really cool. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you've made your coat. I hope you made really big sleeves just like this. You can use so much material, especially if you're coming all the way out to your selvages like I have. But the longer the sleeve, the better. And the wider the sleeve, the better. Look at that. That is as wide as my sleeves on my yukata here. So that's 20 inches, 50 centimeters from the wrist. And it's that drama that we're looking for. This is an opera coat. Make it dramatic. That's what it's supposed to do. Tragedy and comedy all in one. You can get the pattern now. It's right here in the video. Make your own magnificent piece of winter clothing. Find something you can use that goes with another piece so you can make an ensemble just like this. Imagine a summer set in linen and cotton. There's so much you can do with these patterns. They're so quick and so simple. That's why I designed them this way, and why I've shared them with you so you can add this to your wardrobe and have something unique and sophisticated all your own. I'm Kimono Alex. This is House of Kimono. Follow me for everything about kimono.